Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be showing you me winning the Falcon F7 in its Enduro Double Down, and then testing it in multiplayer. So here are what I upgraded all my cars to in the Enduro Double Down, and in the final race to win the Falcon, my tuning is 1505 and 5352 in the Pro Kits. The reason I did not do the last exhaust, even though I have enough parts for it, is so I will get more exhaust to upgrade exhaust more, because Gameloft seems to give more of cards that you have a lot of, and they tend to not give you as many of cars that you do not have very many of, especially if you have none. So here on this Iceland Ace race, I will be winning the Falcon F7. Now I played this race a couple times in the Enduro Double Down, and I have to say it's probably one of my least favorite Ace races I've ever played, because Iceland is one of my least favorite tracks, and triple boosting is not necessary, but it sure helps a lot on this track, because as we know, Iceland has not very many nitro bottles, and he is right on my tail. I found that it's best to flat spin high here to get at least 3 flat spins, because if you go low, yes, you don't lose as much speed, but since there are hardly any nitro bottles on the track for a long time, you will not have nitro for them, and you'll run out, and that will be bad. So as you have seen, the Falcon F7 has very good nitro efficiency, quite good drifting as well, and as you can see, it is going 308 miles per hour, just as fast as my Vulcan. Just kidding, it actually has fake speed of like 91%, which means it's actually going like 280 or something like that, so yeah. If it were real speed, it would be very overpowered, but since it is a B-Class car is not going to go 300 something miles per hour. It's just never going to happen. There's not even a B-Class car that goes 290 as of yet. But at the time of this recording, the motorcycles update is going to be coming out to Asphalt 8 either today or tomorrow, I will say, most likely, for iOS probably, because Android and Windows always seem to have to wait a little while. So I will be making a video of the 5 bikes and the 2 cars being added once we get their stats, so I can give my opinions on them. So here we go. I have finished this race. I have beat the Ace Racer by around 5 seconds. So this race gives us 1,250 points. And once we go through all of this getting money stuff, you will see that we can claim the final 6,500 points and win the Falcon F7. So this is my second Enduro Double Down card that I have won after the 918 Spider earlier in this update. I won every car that was in a free car event kind of thing in this update, except for the Cayman, which I missed unfortunately. Now for my multiplayer tuning. At a rank of 1658, my tuning is 4505 5454. And I am trying not to run completely out of V8 engines, so that is why I did not upgrade Pro Kits any further. So this first race is against an MP425, a Vulcan, a Hommage, and another Falcon F7, and a Camaro. By the way, I probably will be making a video about the Camaro sometime soon, since people have been asking for that. And I am going to be running an extra tank in all of these races because I want to be at my very best against the many overpowered cars at this rank. So here I'm having a little battle with this MP425, and I'm not sure what happened just there, why he fell away like that, and he wrecked. But then this Hommage comes flying underneath me, and for some reason, the Falcon has this tendency to go very high on jumps and to randomly bounce up into the air at different times. I've even gotten airtime on Azure Coast with this car. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But then again, the Falcon is a bird, and birds like to fly, so maybe it makes sense after all. Anyway, so you can see this Homage is slowly getting ahead of me. It's not getting as far ahead as I would have thought. You can see up top I'm going 310 miles per hour, but I'm actually not. I'm probably only going 285, or around that speed at least. So that is why, even though it seems like I'm going extremely fast, I'm actually not. As I said before, a B-Class car could not go this fast, or else it would be way, way faster than everything else in B, and I'm not sure even Gameloft would do that. So here, for some reason, I'm actually catching up to the Homage again, but then he starts speeding away again. So yeah, even though I am losing to a Homage right now, remember that I am beating an MP425, and a Vulcan, and a Camaro, and another Falcon F7. So it's a pretty decent showing for this car being a B-Class car competing with A and S-Class cars. So here we are coming up to the end of the race, and let's see what the ranks of those other cars actually were. So there was a 1659 Homage that beat me. I beat a slightly lower Falcon, a slightly lower Aston Martin Vulcan, a triple boosted Camaro, and triple boosted MP425. I think the Camaro disconnected because he got knocked down at the beginning, and the MP425 because he wrecked. I never disconnect because I wreck just once or get knocked down at the beginning of the race, because anything can happen. So this race is a test to see how it does against another high B-class car, the MP48, who is max pro'd and triple boosted in this race. So the Falcon has a slight speed advantage over the MP48 by probably a few miles per hour, but the MP48 has much better acceleration. As you can see here, even though I am catching up to him slightly, it is still very slowly. Coming up here is a part in Patagonia where most pro players go to the right, but I never go that way, because if you drop down to here from up there, you could barrel roll onto your top, or there is this bug where you ram into a wall in midair and you wreck it to the side, and it's just not worth it. Now for the second place on the track where you can go left or right, back there the MP48 went left, but I went right. Now again, this will be proof that the right side with equal speed cars that both have decent acceleration and drifting capability, the right side is faster. As you can see, I am now ahead of him, even though I was behind him earlier. I do believe, though, in most slower cars, the left way is faster. So here we go. We beat the MP48. He was, as I said, a triple boosted max pro'd one, and a few other cars which are not very good. In the comments, tell me what other cars you would like to see me multiplayer tune and test in multiplayer. So now we have a race against an SLK, a Hommage, and a Vulcan. So here is proof that the Falcon likes to fly. Boom! I know I hit a bump, but I don't think any other car would normally go that high there. And I'm not exactly sure why it happened. So since I know that that SLK is hot on my tail, you can see I go left here because he will go right. It is good practice to stay out of the way of faster cars that are coming up behind you, because a lot of the time they'll just continue by and not try to knock you down. And that Vulcan just flew over me. So as you can see, unfortunately, the Falcon has a lower top speed than the A and S cars around this rank, namely the Homage, MP425, Vulcan, and of course the SLK. But it is faster than most of the other cars that you would find around this rank. Interestingly, this is only the second SLK I've ever seen around this rank. Most of them tune lower, and he wrecked around this corner. I think this speed was very hard for him to control. So now I'm somehow ahead of the SLK, and it is one lap, and he cannot catch up. So I somehow managed to beat an SLK 55 Special Edition in a Falcon F7. Now tell me, when has that ever happened before? I also beat a higher ranked Homage and Vulcan. So as you can see, speed is not the only thing that matters when determining the outcome of a multiplayer race. So now for a French Guiana race that will further prove that speed is not everything. I knocked that Homage down, and now I knocked that Vulcan down. I tend to play very aggressively, you might say, when I'm in an underdog kind of car, as in knocking everyone down at the beginning if I can, just so they don't come up and haunt me later in the race quite as easily. And this way I still have a chance of beating them. This is also a reason I upgraded acceleration a lot on this car. Now, generally it's not good practice to upgrade acceleration much, if at all, on any multiplayer cars, but it's important around this rank, because if you upgrade acceleration, you will be able to knock down other cars at the beginning, when you might not be able to otherwise. And knockdowns are a big determining factor in races at this level, because everything's faster, and the races get completed in shorter amounts of time, but yet the wrecks still take the same amount of time. So therefore, people are farther away by the time the wrecked people are not wrecked anymore. I'm pretty sure I just confused a whole lot of you, but it made sense in my head. So a Homage and Vulcan are what are ahead of me, but right behind me there is a Vulcan. I've held off a Vulcan for 2 laps, and he just flew over me, surprisingly not knocking me down, and he wrecked. That is the same one I knocked down at the beginning. See, if I hadn't have knocked him down, he'd have probably gotten way ahead like those other 2 cars up there. But because I had the acceleration to knock him down, and now he is wrecking, trying to catch back up to me. So it's a tactic that works pretty well. Even though I don't like picking French Guiana in ticket races, I do like picking it in free races, because the crawlers that go across the road almost randomly are a big hazard, and if I can manage to get through them well and the other cars don't, that again can be a determining factor in the race. So coming up to the second lap, and that Vulcan behind me is thinking that he's not going to be able to catch up, so he left. As I've said in previous videos, it is a very smart idea to leave if you're ticket racing and not going to come in third if you're in lower leagues, and second if you're in higher leagues, because you risk losing a lot more points finishing than you would if you left. So that Vulcan and Homage beat me because of their superior speed, but that Vulcan I knocked down at the beginning was never able to catch up, and so he disconnected. Now for the last race on San Diego Harbor, in which you will see that no, playing at this rank does not mean you will always run into Hommages and Vulcans and MP425s. It happens most of the time, but sometimes you can get races like this where you're paired with lower cars. So you can play here without facing those kinds of cars. Not often, but it does happen. So I just like to give my thoughts on this car. It is okay. It is not the greatest multiplayer car because of its low speed for its rank, and I would personally recommend not using it in multiplayer if you are ticket racing, especially if you're in pro or higher. But it is great fun to drive, so you could use it in free races and just have fun in it. So personally, I do think this car was worth it for me to get. Even though I do have a Max Pro'd AMG GT3 in B-Class, the Falcon may be slightly better than that when Max Pro'd on tracks like Iceland and maybe a couple other ones that require very good nitro efficiency. And I, unfortunately, again, was not able to make this car purple. They should have a purple color on all cars. I really do think they should, and I don't know why they don't. Maybe Gameloft thinks it looks better on some cars than others, but I think it looks quite good on all cars. So in this race, we have beat 675 LT, Koenigsegg Agera R, AMG C63 Coupe, and a Vulcan that disconnected. So thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed and would like me to make more Asphalt 8 videos. And I will see you later. Goodbye.